80% of your immune system lives in your gastrointestinal tract. And so your gut health is very important. So I want everybody to start thinking about.
This is Blair Durham with Black Wall Street Today, your media hub for all things Black entrepreneurship, politics, news, and events in Hampton Roads and beyond.
When I say black, y'all say Wall Street. Black
Wall Street.
Black Wall Street. When I say black, y'all say Wall Street. Black.
Please make sure you stay active, stay safe. If you go out, follow your social distancing guidelines, wear your mask, wash your hands. Again, this is Dr. Keith Newby with Fort Norfolk Medical and the James E. Newby Jr. Foundation. Thank you for listening.
What do you think are the lessons that we as Black people ought to extract? What should we have learned from this experience thus far?
I think that Dick Gregory will be proud of my assessment, even from the grave, that the last 30 days we have witnessed the niggerization of America. By that, America at large for 30 days has known and felt like in decibel what it feels like to be Black in America. That the whole population is waiting on a welfare check. That you go in the market and you can't find fresh produce. That the police get to tell you what to do. That we are all living under a curfew. That the schools are no longer available. The elected officials are not answering any calls.
Welcome to this 80th edition of Black Wall Street Today with Blair Durham. Our show is sponsored by Milestone Mental Health Agency. And again, for those that may be interested in telework opportunities as mental health counselors, you're urged to contact Milestone for a virtual interview opportunity at 757-749-1162. Our show is also sponsored by the COO team as well as Apex Financial Group of Virginia. This is part 2 of our focus on COVID-19, and today we are particularly addressing underlying health conditions. And to help shape that dialogue, we're bringing back Dr. Anna Peoples. She is a licensed clinical pharmacist and holistic therapist with a multitude of skills and years of experience in the practice of pharmacy and holistic treatment. She is the CEO and founder of Peoples Diabetic Clinic and Pharmacy in Norfolk, Virginia. And Dr. Peoples' personal mission is to help others get healthy, stay healthy, and live longer lives. Dr. Peoples plans to fulfill her mission by incorporating natural medicines, herbs, and botanicals into conventional therapy as an innovative approach to the treatment of acute and chronic health conditions. Peoples Pharmacy provides free diabetes classes on Tuesday and Thursday from 10 until 2 with staff as well as guest experts. Dr. Peoples, welcome back.
Well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. I want to thank you so much for this information. I know we spoke last week about the disproportionate impact of COVID-19 on the Black population, and so I'm glad that we decided to kind of circle back and look at some of these underlying health issues and ways that we can address them from a more, proactive standpoint. So, again, thank you. We said we'd start today by talking about what we might deem the most vulnerable population, and that's individuals ages 55 and over. What can you help us with here?
Absolutely. First, I want to let the audience know and reiterate that this is a very contagious disease. So we ask that you please follow the guidelines and know that this virus, I learned recently that this virus can actually remain as an aerosol in the air for up to 3 hours. So it's very important for those people, especially 65 years and older, when you're out, to wear a cloth mask or a paper mask if that's all that you have. Know that it has just been discovered that although we already know that the first signs of COVID-19 infection is a fever, but fatigue and loss of smell and taste follows as other very common initial symptoms. So that's going to give you some insight to that. For people 65 years and older, or any or any age who have any serious underlying medical conditions may be at high risk for severe complications from COVID-19. And you hear on TV all the time that, that some people are able to recover quite quickly from it, and others have to go on to be on a ventilator and require extensive medical treatment.
Right.
So as you age, your thyroid level goes down. So that means your vitamin A production goes down, and so the food that you eat, you're not able to convert them to vitamin A. So just to give you a little bit of background, vitamin A is like a dead book that protects all your cell walls, and it's like one of the first lines of defense for your immunity. So it's very important to know that. The next thing I want to point out is that the hydrochloric acid in your gut levels go down. So therefore, that hydrochloric acid actually helps to protect your stomach and your entire body from viruses and other bacteria. So remember that 80% of your immunity is in your gut. So it's very important to know that those two things are occurring as you age.
Got it.
So our recommendations for that are, you of course want to take additional vitamin A, or you want to take a whole food mineral and vitamin supplement. But you want to get a very good product that you know is you're going to have the bioavailability that you need. The other recommendation for this age group is going to be melatonin. Now, everyone is familiar with melatonin as a sleep aid, but melatonin has powerful anti-inflammatory products. And this is what we're looking at today. We're looking at products that would calm the inflammation. When you have these pre-existing conditions, your body is already inflamed. And the reason that people with underlying health conditions actually are more susceptible to the illness is that their bodies are already inflamed. Their bodies are already fighting for its survival. So when you have things like things that occur to you, that occur within your body, and like if you get the flu, your body is it starts to fight that. And if you are 65 years and older, then we're talking about physical age. We're not talking about chronological age, because you may be 65, but you may have the body of a 45-year-old like myself. And I'm just kidding. But so we want to look at the physical age and not always say, well, all people that are 65 years and older, this applies to. No. Some people that are younger may have the body of the physical body of someone that's older than their chronological age. And so we want to look at things like noni juice for that population. Turmeric and probiotics are very, very important, because probiotics is what helps us with our gut health.
There were a couple of recommendations. I heard turmeric. I heard probiotic. What was the third one?
That's vitamin A, and then noni juice is my staple.
Oh, noni juice. Okay.
Noni juice is like having salt in your house, or rice, or flour, whatever. But noni juice actually is a very good total whole food supplement that people can help with all conditions. And someone was telling me that noni juice has been around for years. And they were saying, well, I remember noni juice because people used to sell it, but that doesn't mean that noni juice is not an effective product. And it helps out in so many different ways. It's a superfood, actually.
Got it. Okay. So are we finished with that category as far as recommendations?
Just one other thing. Every morning, I want everyone to take a whole lemon and just squeeze it into a hot cup of water. That would get your digestive juices flowing, as well as it will remove any of the toxins that you have built up for that night. If you notice that, for instance, if you eat something dairy, if you eat some ice cream the night before you go to bed, when you lie down, that mucus starts to form in your body, and you want to use that lemon with the hot water to start breaking that up and eliminating it with your morning routine.
Wow. I love that. Okay, whole lemon, squeeze it into a glass of hot water, and that will help break down any mucus that we may have consumed the night before.
Absolutely.
That's brilliant. Okay. So talk to us now about another prevalent condition in the Black community, which is obesity.
Oh, my God, yes, obesity. So a new CDC report reveals that half of COVID-19 patients are obese.
Oh, wow.
So, yes, and so they're the patients that the health practitioners are having the hardest times with, because you have to remember that severe obesity increases the risk of breathing problems. It increases the risk of acute respiratory distress syndrome. And it's also, most people that have obesity also have a comorbidity with other diseases like diabetes, cardiovascular disease, as well as hypertension. It's estimated that they're saying over 40% of our population now is overweight. So obesity is a very serious illness that we need to address, especially in our community. I read a long time ago in the old African proverb that if you want to live a long life, you need to eat less. And so that has found to be true. In 2016, I think he was a Japanese scientist won the Nobel Peace Prize for autophagy. And autophagy is intermittent fasting. And what they found out was that when you only eat between a certain window of time, say 12 hours, if you want to eat only between 8 and 6, that allows your body to rejuvenate itself. A lot of things are occurring in your gut. So you want to give your gut time enough to rejuvenate itself, to heal itself. And this, I want you to look this up, audience, and it talks about how it renews cells. You know, at one time, it was a thought process of that when a cell dies, it dies off and you die with it, but that's not true. And he won the Nobel Peace Prize for that. So the action plan for people that are suffering from obesity, a lot of us do because we love to eat, and it's even as a confidence for all of us. And most of our lives are built around eating. But you need to implement lifestyle changes. I talked about time-restricted eating. Eat between 8 and 12 hours, such as eating between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. It's also recommended across all lines that you do not eat anything past 7 p.m. You want to incorporate an alkaline diet. Diseases cannot live in an alkaline environment. So you have to eat an alkaline diet such as kale, spinach, mustard, collards, broccoli, cauliflower, and root vegetables. And so now I'm recommending for folks that one of an antibiotic that's available for everybody is garlic. Take a clove of garlic, put it in a gallon of water, alkaline water, and just let it sit for a day and then start sipping it. That will build up your immunity in a very passive way. And garlic is considered the poor man's antibiotic. You want to avoid acidic foods. You want to avoid dairy products. You want to avoid sugar. Sugar decreases your immune system tremendously. Sugar is considered by a lot of folks in the medical community as being a poison. Processed foods, processed meat. If you are reading something and you can't pronounce the words, you're looking at the food labeling, avoid it. Sodas, as we all know, it's a no-no. Gatorade, pizza, white bread, and rice. Rice, unfortunately, I love rice, but rice, if you don't get organic rice, it has high levels of arsenic. I just did a vitamin mineral deficiency test, and I found out that I have levels of arsenic, mercury, I was deficient in zinc, and I had high levels of aluminum. So I had to immediately put myself on spirulina that would take and knock all that out, as well as noni juice. Noni juice is very good for binding the toxins, especially if you're taking in chemotherapeutic drugs. Noni juice binds with those toxins and releases it from your body. The last thing we want to say is that, well, not the last thing, but we want folks that have a problem with weight to stay active. You know, you want to do at least 30 minutes of, I won't say exercise, but because a lot of people don't enjoy it. You don't enjoy exercise, clean your house. You don't enjoy that, just find something to get your body to move. Our bodies were meant to move, not sit around and watch TV or just lay around and play video games. some of the recommendations for folks that have a condition of obesity is Garcinia cambodia. Garcinia cambodia is a natural plant, and what it does, it causes the body not to absorb the fat. It coats the lining of your intestinal tract, and when you eat, you have to take at least 30 minutes before you eat. And so there was a drug that was formulated from this some years ago, but they actually took that off the market. We also have products that are called carb blockers and sugar blockers and chromium. And so you take these products, and if you have some folks come into the pharmacy and they say, I just have to have my cake. So people, and we work around people's lifestyles, even though, they don't, it's not good for you, we still work around and say, okay, if you're going to have your cake to make you happy, then what we need for you to do is take a carb blocker. And what that does is coat the intestinal tract and keeps the carbs from being absorbed into your bloodstream. And so we can do workarounds as well with the obesity.
Interesting. I want to go back to one thing that you said about garlic. Very interesting in terms of the way it functions in the body as an antibiotic. The question I have for you is, if I just consume lots of garlic, does it have the same properties as it does if I let it sit in a gallon of alkaline water?
Yeah, it does. But you don't want to consume large amounts of garlic. That's why I said this. Use a clove. You want to do it passively. We had some studies over in China when this disease first came out, and people were consuming large amounts of garlic, and they had.
I don't mean consuming it just sitting around eating garlic cloves, but if I cook with it, is that enough?
Well, heat actually kills a lot of the therapeutic effects of a lot of properties of a lot of things, and so that's why I said you would just take and put it in the water, or some people actually eat a clove of garlic 2 to 3 times per day, just depending on their condition.
Okay.
You can also take a garlic supplement, and that way you have like the normal doses. The normal doses is 600 to 1,000 milligrams per day. So you know what you're taking. And the reason why I say that you can do too much of a good thing. So you don't want to overdo it.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow, that was some great information. We've got just a couple minutes before we go to our first break. Is there more that you want to share on obesity? I think we'll leave the other 3 areas for our last segment. We're going to cover chronic lung disease, hypertension, as well as diabetes on the last segment of the show. But is there more that you want to say now about obesity or about the clinic or something else?
Well, I do want to touch upon obesity, because obesity is the precursor to a lot of other chronic illnesses, and it's something that we can actually control ourselves. I would like for people to start looking at eating better, because in this time with the coronavirus, that's an attack on our body.
Sure.
And if your body is already fighting inflammation that's already in there, and then you contract this virus or get the flu or some other illness, then your body is working overtime. So when you have these underlying conditions, you have to be cognizant of what is going on in your body and not add to damaging your body further. And that's why I brought in the alkaline food. When you go out to the grocery store, load up, go to the vegetable section, load up. I remember back in the day, we ate a lot of greens, we ate a lot of collards, we ate a lot of mustard greens. Go back to those groups, go back to the vegetable section, and start enjoying those foods. If you like bread, stay away from the flour. Anything that's processed is poison. Make some cornbread. No, that's good.
You know, I made cornbread not from Jiffy for the first time last night, Dr. Peoples, using cornmeal and a gluten-free, one of Bob's 1-to-1 gluten-free flour recipe. It was fantastic. I said I'll be doing that from now on.
Absolutely, and that is healthy eating, and that's also a comfort food. It makes you feel good, and that's what a lot of foods do for a lot of people. Is but we have to substitute it with other things, and I want people to take this virus seriously.
Yeah.
Don't be bamboozled, folks. It's out there, and we don't know. We just don't know, but we do know that we can control what we do.
Right.
And I'm asking everybody.
We've got to go to break. I'm sorry. We're going to come back, though. We will have more with Dr. Peoples during the third segment of our show. This has been so helpful. Thank you so much. And we'll be back in just a few minutes with our Money Talk segment, and then we'll have more with Dr. Peoples. Stay tuned.
Excellence is being able to perform at a high level for a long period of time.
The next level success is just a step away. Stay tuned. Black Wall Street Today will be right back after a word from our underwriting sponsors.
When the conversation is good and the friends are even better, you'll find a wine that brings it all together. Shoe Crazy Wine. Remember that name. Shoe Crazy Wine. Available at Costco, Kroger, and these other fine retailers.
We know you love jazz music, so let's try some jazz music with a little R&B flavor. Baby, baby, I'm falling in love. You got me falling in love. You made me. What about some jazz music with a little trap flavor? Jazz and Caribbean. Hey, we mix it up. So, online, look for Grandpa Crunk and enjoy the great jazz music. Grandpa Crunk. Jazz music.
Peace. I'm your brother Crunk. I have a new podcast called Snatched. Sorry.
You're about to get snatched.
It's the best of my YouTube channel, From TV.
You're listening to the Snatch Podcast.
In audio mastered format.
Snatch and run!
On Blueberry, Android, the Edgy Podcast, Stitcher, Digital Podcast, and Speaker.
Ever experienced what snatching is like?
And now, more Black Wall Street Today with Blair Durham on Smooth 88.1 WHOV.
Welcome back. It's the 80th edition of Black Wall Street Today with Blair Durham. We're excited for this edition of Hashtag Money Talk. This segment is sponsored by Apex Financial Group of Virginia, and it is featuring Anthony Epps and Michael Gray. Gentlemen, how are you?
Great. How's it? Good.
Awesome. You all have been providing wonderful information in terms of safe money practices during the COVID-19 crisis. So I'm glad that we're going to continue that dialogue. I'm ready when you are.
Okay. Good day to you and radio audience. It's always good to be back, and it's our great pleasure to come again on this Wednesday with more information that could be a help to so many individuals that face with this COVID-19 and the different crises that people are currently facing. So today, we're going to talk about how to manage your finances during this crisis, and we're going to talk about a few simple steps that you can implement, and we're going to talk about safe money practices, and at the end, we're going to give some information about some of the different stimulus packages that's out there for both businesses as well as individuals. Okay?
Perfect.
So let's begin. I want to talk, starting off with, about a few simple steps, okay, that can be implemented to help ease some of the frustration, some of the distress, some of the concerns, and even the financial hardship and anxiety that most people are facing during this COVID-19 impact that it's had upon both business as well as individuals.
Sure.
The first thing we have to look at, what we have to do first, the first thing that you have to do, you have to plan, okay? You have to do something. You cannot sit and do nothing, okay? So it all starts with planning. That's the first step. You have to start planning, okay? on how to navigate your finances. The old saying goes, most people don't plan to fail. They fail to plan. So the first step is you're going to have to start planning. And again, we offer a free consultation here, okay? A free consultation at no cost to the individual, and they can reach us at 640-757-640-0207 for that free consultation. The second thing that you need to be concerned about, the second step will be don't panic. Most people are panicking because they don't know what to do. And again, we can offer advice, recommendations to help you to relieve some of that anxiety. The third step that we're going to recommend is focus on long-term goals when it comes to investing your money. Focus on long-term goals when it comes to investing your money. And the thing that you want to be careful about here is to make sure that you do not take unnecessary risks. The second thing is you have to look at how can I reduce my risk and what is my risk tolerance. And we're going to talk more about that later on, about different accounts that people have now that could be directly tied to the marketplace, whether stocks or indexes, that could be causing them to lose value in their accounts. So you want to actually look at your risk tolerance. And also, you want to make sure that you implement safe money strategies. The third step, you want to create a crisis budget. A crisis budget. Notice I say crisis budget.
Sure.
We're living in a crisis, unprecedented times, uncertain times. So with that said, we want to make sure that you spend your money on essentials and draw back from non-essentials. What is essentials? Food, shelter, transportation. And when you create a budget, make sure that you don't splurge. You do not splurge, overspend. Make sure that you have the basic one-on-one planning tool in place, 3 months of saving and save expenses. These things take discipline, but everybody's have a budget. Sure. And with the budget now that we're creating is a crisis budget, because we're basically looking at spending on what? Just essentials and non-essentials. And lastly, the last step I will recommend is that if there's a loss of income, if you lost income due to this impact of COVID-19, you can call creditors and ask your creditors, whether it be mortgage, whether it be credit cards, auto loans. You can call them and ask them what do they have in place, okay, for debt relief. What do they have in place? Any type of deferment plans for burns. Any type of plans that can help ease the financial burden that most people are faced with today, because of a lot of individuals have been laid off due to this COVID-19. So these are some steps that you can take, and we can help you with those steps by calling us today. Again, at 757-640-0207 for a free telephone consultation, or we can also do a virtual appointment, and that is no cost to you. Again, the number here is 757-640-0207. And at this time, we want to give you a couple of strategies on safe money. I'm going to let Ms. Steps talk about that now.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Safe money. Well, what is safe money? Most people who consider their money to be safe, they may have it in a savings account, they may have it in a CD, they may have it in a life insurance contract, or they may have it in an annuity or an indexed annuity. These are some of the safer vehicles that people typically utilize for safe money. Now, a lot of people who don't really know a whole lot about money and how to save money and what's safe money, they may utilize instruments that they depend on their advisor to put aside for them in some of their 401k plans, RAs, and Roth RAs. And some of these things can be tied to the market. And we know that typically, the market has its ups and downs, okay? Sure. And most people do not like the idea when they lose money. And one of the things that I ask my clients when they sit down in front of me, I say, well, do you like losing money? No, not really. Then I say, well, why do you have it as something that is losing money for you that you know nothing about? And then I may pivot and say, well, are you familiar with some safe money strategies? They said, well, what's that? I said, well, some of the companies we deal with, life insurance companies, they have safe money strategies that allow you to get the upswing of the market without any downside losses.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of people are not familiar with that. So I said, well, if you're not familiar, what you need to do is call 757-640-0207 and get a free consultation on that particular safe money strategy. Because people, they are saving money, all the time, every day, in the various plans. And another question that I asked them, I'll say, do you know when your money will double?
Yeah.
No, not really. I said, well, let me give you a rule. The rule is called a rule of 72. And that rule typically states if you take the interest rate that you're getting on your money and divide it by 72, it'll tell you how long it take your money to double itself. So let's say you got your money in a CD in the bank, and they're paying you 2% on that CD in the bank.
36 years.
So 72 by 2, like you said, 36 years.
Wow.
So let's say if you're 50 years old, you got $100,000 earning 2%, your money gonna double to $200,000 when you get 86. And then a lot of times people say, wow, I didn't realize that. I say, well, that's why it's important for people like yourself to come in and sit down with an advisor like Apex Financial, get a free consultation, and then we can possibly point you in the right direction and for your safe money.
Huge. Thank you so much. I do want to, of course, we've got just a couple minutes remaining, and in closing, I want to make sure that we provide at least a small update on what is happening with the payroll protection program and the economic injury disaster loan program. I did receive a press release from a couple of the state senators regarding some additional funds being released. And so if we could provide an update there as well as an update on the personal stimulus package, I think that would be helpful.
Okay. Real quickly, on the PPP, as you well know, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, he's putting out, actually they're putting it through the House, and it should be going through this week. As a matter of fact, it could be today. They're going to add more money to the stimulus package, which is going to put more money into the PPP as well as into the economic injury disaster loan, which means that the first round, it was not enough money. They ran out of money, and there were some glitches in the program that they're trying to correct now. So basically, they put more money to the funds, and they're trying to direct this money to smaller businesses. A lot of times, the larger businesses were actually the beneficiaries of most of the first round of funding. And so hopefully, with this second round of funding, and I'm told there could be a third round as well, most small businesses will be able to get some type of relief through the stimulus package, through the PPP and the economic injury disaster loan program. And on the stimulus paycheck, those checks are going out. Most people who filed the taxes for 19, 18, they filed and had direct deposits for the refunds. They should have already received their check through direct deposits. And those who didn't file direct deposits for the refund should be getting their checks mailed out. It was a little delayed because they put the president's name on the checks, but those checks are already mailed out, so they should be getting those as well. And that's $1,200 for individuals who meet the guidelines, and $500 for children. So that should be coming to a lot of individuals, hopefully this week, next week. So that's basically the roundup on both the business stimulus package and the personal stimulus paycheck program.
Perfect. I want to thank you so much for that update as well. And just one more time, if you all could reiterate the contact information, let people know how it is that you can be reached and how you're providing virtual services in this minute that we have remaining.
Apex Financial Group of Virginia Incorporated is located at 355 Crawford Street, Suite 320 in the city of Portsmouth, Virginia. Office phone number is 757-640-0207. Email address is apex_of_VA@yahoo.com. And our website is www.apexfinancialgroupofva.com.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And when we return, we will have more with Dr. Peoples and our focus on building immunity, even if you have an underlying health condition. We'll talk in just a moment.
The biggest financial asset that you have going for you by miles is the value of your own earning power over the years.
If you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. More important business insights are on the way. Stay locked in. Black Wall Street Today will be right back after these messages.
Hey, this is Seko, DJ Seko Varner, the producer of this podcast. So when I'm not producing podcasts, I'm actually DJing wedding receptions, corporate events, proms, other formals, and I would love to take care of your special event. So our company is Positive Vibes Incorporated, www.positivevibes.net. That's www.positivevibes.net. We've been performing for over 25 years, and we would love to bring our expertise and our fun to your special event. Positive Vibes Incorporated, www.positivevibes.net. Peace and prosperity.
And now, more Black Wall Street Today with Blair Durham on Smooth 88.1 WHOV.
Welcome back. It's the 80th edition of Black Wall Street Today. A special focus on COVID-19 and underlying health conditions. We spoke earlier about the disproportionate impact of the disease on the Black population, and we welcomed Dr. Peoples to chat with us about certain conditions. If you missed that first segment, we discussed at length people that are 55 and over, as well as physical age. 55 and over, right? As well as those that may be suffering with obesity, some strategy and some solutions. So for this next segment, we're going to focus on chronic lung disease, hypertension, and diabetes. Dr. Peoples, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Help us with lung disease. I know this is a big one as well.
Okay, so for chronic lung disease and moderate to severe asthma, you want to develop an asthma action plan. And that is, some strategy for that is that you want to keep your asthma under control by following your action plan. You want to continue with your current medications, including any inhalers or steroids. Discuss your concerns about your treatment with your healthcare provider, as well as if you're quarantined, you want to get an emergency supply of prescription medications such as your asthma inhaler. And so what we've experienced now is that there is a shortage of the inhalers because of the disease, the COVID-19 disease. And so there's a shortage supply of the albuterol inhalers as well as some of the steroids. So make sure that you get an adequate supply so that you don't run out, and also know how to properly use your inhaler. Another thing you want to do is avoid any asthma triggers. And so we live in an area that some of the pollutants in the air causes a lot of our population, especially where a lot of us live, that triggers asthma attacks. So you want to know what your triggers are that brings on those attacks, and sometimes that is triggered by stress. And so we wanted to minimize the amount of stress that we're subjecting ourselves to, or that we find ourselves being subjected to. So for that, we recommend CBD oil. We don't want to, and at a small concentration. One of the other things that works quite well to building up the integrity of your lungs is N-acetylcysteine, and that actually has been used for COPD. Vitamin C and high doses, and know that vitamin C as well as N-acetylcysteine are water-soluble supplements, and so you don't get overdoses or get ill effects from using those two products. and another one is elderberry. So what you actually want to do is get quiet within yourself and come up with an asthma action plan. So if you are subjected to the virus, you have everything written down for a caregiver, if need be, to follow your instructions.
Wow, that was super helpful. I wrote everything down. Okay. Let's go to talking about hypertension, another situation that we are dealing with.
So with hypertension, that was actually besides obesity, the number 2 problem that healthcare workers are having with COVID-19 patients are the patients that have hypertension. And we know that high blood pressure increases the risk of heart attacks and stroke. So the other thing is that the COVID-19 virus actually attaches to the ACE membrane. And so they have that characteristic with some of the medications that folks are taking that have high blood pressure. But what we're telling folks is that to continue taking your medication as directed by your healthcare provider.
Okay.
Additionally, you also need to have a plan for what might happen if you do get sick. And that includes having a list of all the people, of all your contact, people that you need to get in contact with, such as your pharmacist, such as your doctor's office, or any specialty practices that you visit. You also want to have a plan if you have to have a care provider. Also know that exercise actually lowers your blood pressure by several points, both the systolic and diastolic properties. So you want to also exercise as well. But during this time, you want to monitor your blood pressure. So that means with your blood pressure monitoring kit, you want to make sure that you have batteries for that so that if you are quarantined, it doesn't stop working on you and you don't have to go out. One of the recommendations is a supplement called quercetin, and it actually works to protect your arteries from harmful plaque buildup. And some of the other benefits include it supports for healthy blood pressure levels. It causes a reduction in the symptoms of bladder pain and also reduction of prostate inflammation. So the key points here, keep taking your medications, watch your stress levels because that has a tendency to raise our blood pressure is high. And just keep monitoring your blood pressure. And if you find that it gets to a point where it's uncontrollably high, then you definitely need to reach out to your physician. And a lot of physicians, as well as pharmacies, are providing telehealth services at this point, so you don't have to go into the office.
Yeah, I had a question about that. I know that, these times are unprecedented, and so we're experiencing just a delay in general with needing to contact providers of all sorts of services. But one issue that I'm seeing is that those that may not have the virus, but they have some other set of symptoms, are not getting the services that they need. What is your recommendation? In some instances, they're being told flat out, we're dealing with the virus, and therefore, what are you seeing? What is your thought there? I know this is off script, but I had to ask.
Well, being on the front line, pharmacists are always, not always, but a lot of times we're the first health professionals that people will come to. Because, you don't need an appointment, and we're about the most readily accessible healthcare provider that there is.
Sure.
So I would ask them to reach out to anyone that they feel that will be able to help them. Talk to their local pharmacist and see what advice that they're getting. A lot of times pharmacists are able to reach the physicians. We have code words that we use. I'm affiliated with the community health center, and when we really need to get the patient in to see the physician, we call them up personally and let them know, hey, this is an urgent situation, and I would like to know if you could, do your best to give them a call So reach out to your pharmacist. A lot of times we can get through to the physicians when you can't.
Huge. I am so glad that I went off script to ask that question, because I've actually had that be a lifesaver for me at a time of need. I went in to talk to a pharmacist. I was nursing. I was pregnant. I had what I didn't know was a sinus infection happening because I'd never had one, and it was a pharmacist that came to my aid. So thank you for that. I will certainly share that information. We've got a few minutes remaining, and I want to make sure that we're able to give diabetes due diligence, so I won't go on. Help us out.
Okay, so diabetes is, close to my heart. And so one thing you need to know is that just control your disease. That's the main thing. Be very diligent in the control. So that means that people with type 1 or type 2 diabetes are not necessarily at greater risk of becoming infected. But once they do have, contract the virus, then they are likely to have worse outcomes if infected. So you need to have a plan, and with all the other conditions, you need to make plans in case of illness. Again, you need to have adequate supplies on hand. You need to make sure you have insulin and diabetes medications. And what is going on now is a lot of the insurance plans are allowing you to get up to 3 months. A lot of people get 3 months anyway, but they're allowing you to get additional medications during this period of time. If need be, it's easier to get refills now on your medications because the health community recognizes what is really going on. Okay, have your supply of your simple carbs. Get your medications to use for the cold, flu, and viruses. Get your glucagon, keto strips. And know when to call your doctor if you have any changes in your medications when you get sick. Drink lots of fluids. And again, you can reach out to your pharmacist. You can reach out to People's Diabetic Clinic and Pharmacy and get information. If your blood glucose is low, then you need to eat some simple sugars, some simple carbs, or if your blood glucose is high, and make sure that you're monitoring more than normal. Then make sure that your levels are good and that you can address your levels if need be. Some of the recommendations that we're using, we have a natural product that actually regulates your insulin production. We have a product called Sugar Armor that blocks up to 50% of the sugar and starch absorption with each meal. Garcinia Gambodios is another one. But, people with underlying health conditions should be extra vigilant about protecting themselves from infection. And they also should know that they have a lower threshold for seeking care if they feel that they are developing symptoms of infection. So don't just sit and hope that it goes away. Act upon your symptoms and just listen to your body. And so what I want to quickly talk about is about building your immune system. So know that, and I've mentioned this before, that 80% of your immune system lives in your gastrointestinal tract. And so your gut health is very important. So I want everybody to start thinking about incorporating probiotics into your plan. Probiotics is what increases your immune system. High doses of vitamin C have been used with COVID-19 patients. And recently a physician went in, they gave him high doses of vitamin C. They gave him 2 days and they put him on high doses of vitamin C and an immunosuppressive drug, and he came out of the coma in 2 days. You can look this up. Turmeric. Turmeric is phenomenal. Turmeric is an anti-inflammatory drug that if you're feeling bad, turmeric is the key. We talked about elderberry the last time. And so vitamin D is very, very good. And vitamin D, of course, a lot of us are deficient in vitamin D. And during this time, the dosage is different for the COVID-19 infections. N-acetylcysteine, which is NAC. We kind of touched upon that. But it can
ask you to spell that one for us.
N-acetylcysteine is N-acetylcysteine, abbreviated NAC. It's a precursor to glutathione, L-glutathione, which has 10 times the oxidative stress reduction as vitamin C. Very, very phenomenal product.
L-glutathione. I got it. In acetyl.
And we cannot be remiss in talking about mental health. Stress will kill you in itself. Stress reduces natural killer cells. So keep your stress levels low with the ginseng and the CBD oil. And know that food is medicine. So when you're taking these products, your food, give a variety of foods. And so we want to, just make sure that everybody just get quiet within yourself and come up with a care plan for how what you're going to do in the event that you are quarantined with this disease or any other disease.
The people, that was tremendous.
Good. I hope everything came through clear.
Everything. Yes, I know we had a problem during the first segment, but we were crystal clear for this second segment. And just very, very grateful to you for the wealth of knowledge that you are in the community, and grateful that our radio show is now a podcast, and so this information will be shared all over the world to many that may not have access to it otherwise. So I just want to thank you. And as our situation progresses, I would definitely invite you to come back and share more with us relative to, CDC guidelines as they change and any other information that you deem pertinent. In closing, would you please share how you can be contacted? We have just a minute. If you could just share how I can go about getting a care pack, et cetera, that'd be great. Really quickly.
Okay, so the medication experts at People's Pharmacy, we can provide evidence-based holistic products that will help you build your immune system and help you protect against various diseases. We're on Instagram. We're at People's Diabetic Clinic. You can visit our website at www.peoplespharmacyrx.com. We're located in the beautiful city of Norfolk, Virginia at 1446 Church Street, Suite C. You can also look us up on Facebook at People's Pharmacy, and our email is info@peoplespharmacyrx.com. Our telephone number is area code 757-227-4677. So let's work together to protect ourselves, our family, and our communities. And let's do it in a smart way. Let's follow the guidelines and know that this virus affects everybody, and it's very contagious. I've seen where whole families have been affected.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
We'll bring you back, I promise. I want to thank you all for tuning in to Black Wall Street Today, sponsored by Milestone Mental Health Agency, Apex Financial Group, and the COO team. Special thank you to our guest, Dr. Anna Peoples. We are building minds and building connections. We're forging the path ahead towards business success in the Black community. We look forward to talking next week.
Phenomenal. Stay with us online at Black Wall Street Today on Facebook and Black Wall Street Today on Instagram, and then follow us on Twitter as well at BWS Today. We look forward to talking again next week. Have a wonderful week. I have said, and I will continue to say, that the most important priority for the Black community is the Black community, not a particular political party. Phenomenal.
Hey, yo, when I say Black, you say Wall Street. Black Wall Street. When I say Black, you say Wall Street. Black. When I say Black, you say Wall Street. Black. When I say Black, you say Wall Street. Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street.